Although Mexico is now out of the tournament, the fight goes on. Mexico versus Kazakhstan continues. And athletes from both nations are getting invaluable international experience here in Combat Kingdom, the Kingdom of Bahrain. For those of you unfamiliar with the minutiae in mixed martial arts, the grease is applied to areas of the skin where there's potentially a sharp ridge of bone underneath it, most typically the brow of the eye, and where the cartilage meets the bone in the nose. By putting a little bit of grease there, cuts are prevented. A little bit of grease goes on the glove, a little bit of grease goes over the eyes. When a shot comes in, instead of getting a cut, nobody wants to end a fight on a cut. Oh, showing a little karate background, got a little Bruce Lee influence.
From Kazakhstan, please welcome Anatoliy Zolotykh.
I had referenced grease on the face earlier. What you're seeing here in this pat down is making sure there's no extra grease or anything else on the uniform that could potentially cause harm to the opponent.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is in the featherweight division, 65.8 kilograms. Let's meet our first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner from Mexico. Please welcome Anatoliy Ramirez. Amado. And his opponent from Kazakhstan, please welcome.
Featherweights at 65.8 kilograms. Anthony Ramirez Amado from Mexico in the blue corner. His opponent, Anatoliy Zolotykh from Kazakhstan in the red. Oi,
Imanari roll attempt.
Looking for the leg early on is Mexico.
Still in it, still in it, still in it.
Can push the foot across here. Going to the saddle. Got to be careful about the strikes, and again, a precarious thing to go for strikes, go for submissions, excuse me, in the striking game. When you get punched in the face, it's problematic. So we're seeing an example of that here.
Thanks to the efforts of John Danaher, among others, leg attacks are now, I think, the predominant attack in grappling, but this is not grappling. This is mixed martial arts. Going for those leg locks is a lot tougher when somebody's punching you in the face.
Rubber guard here from Amado. Looking for the zombie.
Textbook rubber guard so far.
From here, he's got a great position to prevent the posture of his opponent. Also, triangles and arm bars are allowed from here.
This is not just a miserable position to be in it. There's also any number of ways you can get tapped out.
It looks like the right arm is across the neck here, yeah. So if the left arm can be pushed out of play of Anatoliy here, there's a potential triangle. Because the leg would serve as a choking mechanism as well as Mexico's arm. So Anthony right now is trying to use that right arm as a choking point in the neck of Anatoliy. But he'll get more leverage if that left arm is pulled out of play. If he can pass his right leg across the left arm of Anatoliy, he's going to have more success there.
The technique you're seeing by the Mexican fighter was developed by the great Eddie Bravo. It's part of what's called the rubber guard.
We don't often see this in mixed martial arts as well. He goes back to the full guard here, but great positional awareness, but he's looking to go to the body triangle here now and hold on to his opponent's system. He potentially might look for a stand-up. Gonna roll for the leg again. Anatoliy trying to fight the legs here to try and expose the body of his opponent and lay on top of him to allow the ground and pound strikes. Got to be careful about the armbar attempts.
Really, really impressive leg lock attempts from Anthony Ramirez Amado. It's very unusual to see this kind of high-level guard attack in mixed martial arts. A lot of excellent back and forth action in that round. One of those bouts that makes me very, very glad. All I have to do today is talk. There's that Imanari roll attempt. Now, heel hooks are illegal. The Imanari roll ordinarily lands in a heel hook. It would be modified for the amateur ranks to land in a straight ankle lock. That first attempt was stuffed by Anatoliy. Another look at it.
What he was looking to do is to kick that right leg in between, just a little bit higher on the thigh. Went a little bit low towards the knee joint, which disallowed the control of the limb and the sweep to enable him on the top position there. But it was a great entry, and he's having fun out there as well, given the fact that Kazakhstan are now 5-0. Mexico not going through to the next round, but this is the learning experience now. I mean, they're trying to put on a show.
Trying and succeeding, Dean. This is very entertaining action from both fighters. Little tape came loose on the shin pads. Referee wisely removed it so it couldn't interfere with the action.
Although now he's got one taped and one not taped, so that right shin there could potentially slip down, which could expose the shin. So the referee's going to have to keep an eye on that, and that's probably why it prompted Anthony to fire that rear head kick with less padding potentially. Anatoliy now with some nice control. Lots of weight through the shoulder here. Double underhooks for Anatoliy. He'll look to hip bump now and mat return Anthony. Amado's got to look for these double underhooks here. He's got to try and punch the arms through. He gets taken down. Now it's a battle of getting back to his feet or looking for sweeps. Also submissions, but a little bit more problematic with his back up against the cage. That's why he's using that right leg to try and circle back into the center of the cage.
Submissions from bottom, very hard to pull off in mixed martial arts. Preferred strategy is ordinarily to stand up from here.
Anatoliy, one of Kazakhstan's top up-and-comers. Gold medals at both the Asian Open and the Junior Open in 2019. Some heavy punches from Anatoliy. Great hips from Anatoliy. You see the way he's stuffing the legs, disallowing the guard of Amado. Lots of pressure, addressing the underhook of the right arm as well.
Some critical aspects of mixed martial arts technique are very obvious. Jumping knee or that punch you just saw right there. One that's more subtle but really equally spectacular in its way is the use of the hips that Dean just referenced. the way a fighter moves his hips, how heavy he can sink them down, how agile he can use them to avoid a takedown or to get around the legs like you saw right there, really is just a thing of beauty.
Amado in the stacked position now. He wants to try and get his legs around his opponent, potentially for the triangle, or go back to the full guard. He might end up giving the back up. Anatoliy looking for the back. Roll for the leg lock from Amado. Outside Ashigami here position. He's got to be careful about reaping the leg there. Again, heel hooks not allowed, only footlocks and knee bars.
Ten seconds now. Anatoliy on top.
Ordinarily, there'd be a heel hook available there on that entwined leg of Anatoliy, but heel hook's not allowed under the rule set. That's why it was safe to leave that leg there. And that's why you saw also Anthony didn't attack that leg, given it was reaped across the body.
Very unfortunately, everyone in mixed martial arts knows someone who's had a torn ACL from a heel hook. It ordinarily takes you out of action for 6 months. IMMAF is trying to develop athletes. They don't want to allow a technique that'll take these young athletes out of the sport for 6 months or more. So I think they very wisely have made the decision to not allow heel hooks in the amateur ranks. Coming into this, the third and final round, Anatoliy Zolotykh appears to have the edge fairly handily.
Amado with some nice heavy kicks, going low and going high as well, varying the attacks. Trying to threaten the right hand, going to the body as well. Oh!
Beautiful spinning hook kick from Anatoliy Zolotykh.
Double leg from Anatoliy, gets the hip bump off the cage, now in the top position. He's going to look to methodically walk himself around to the half guard position now. He's got to get that left leg out of the clasp of Amado. You can hear the coach of Mexico instructing for the lockdown here. He's going to try and get that right leg underneath the front of the left leg. Good serve to stretch out your opponent, gain some distance, and also you can use that for sweeps.
I actually learned that move in 1994 from a big pro wrestler, and I tried it on Matt Serra when he was a purple belt. I don't think he'd ever seen it before, but it didn't work.
Anatoliy now inside control position, a nice dominant position from the top. He's firing those knees to the body. He's got to be very careful he doesn't do that into the base of the spine.
That hip area is vulnerable to low kicks, to tie kicks, and it is vulnerable to those long knees from topside control.
Oh, triangle attempt there from Amado. Very active off of his back. Great flexibility as well. An awareness of motion from Amado. Body triangle due to the long legs. Now overhook. Potentially looking for a triangle submission.
Amado employing a little bit of impact into the hips as well with those heel kicks.
Amado here's got to try and turn into his opponent and work the underhooks for the sweeps and to get the half guard. Turning away Just allows his opponent to flatten him out or potentially take the back. Now he turns in, gets the half guard. Beautiful work from Amado. He's got to address that left underhook, though. He's got to come underneath the right arm of Anatoliy.
There he's going for it. Bring his elbow in tight. Unfortunately, he has to use that arm to protect his face. And the round ends. It's been a very, very great tournament for Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan has support from their government, which is very, very appreciated and clearly is paying off very well. These Kazakh fighters are seeing international glory now.
Great double leg from Anatoliy. The way he bumps the hips straight off the cage and maintains the top position with the body lock. Looking to pass the guard here, the legs of Amado. Amado, a very tricky customer to try and control from the top position.
Kind words being exchanged between the two athletes. And the athletes in the opposite corners.
Ladies and gentlemen, another great battle inside the MMA SUPERCUP 2022 cage. After 3 rounds, we go to judges' scorecards. All 3 judges score the bout 30-27.